Did you see him?
The old fellow that just went out.
Precisely.
Yes, I met him at the door.
What did you think of him?
Pathetic, futile, broken creature.
Exactly, Watson. Pathetic and futile. But is not all life pathetic and futile? Is not his life a microcosm in the whole? We reach, we grasp, but what is left in the end? A shadow, or worse, a misery?
Is he one of your clients?
I suppose I can call him so.
And what is the matter?
His name is Josiah Amberley. He's a junior partner at Brickfall and Amberley, manufacturers of artistic materials. He retired at 61, bought a house at Lewisham, and settled down. One would think that his life was assured.
Yes, indeed.
He retired in 1896, and he married a beautiful woman a year later. You see, one would think that not in 2 years he would become a broken creature.
But what happened?
The old story, Watson. A frugal wife and a treacherous friend. You see, Mr. Amberley has one hobby in life, chess. And there's a doctor, not far from Lewisham, that shares this interest. They usually spend most of the time together, but then Dr. Ray Ernest started spending more time with his wife, Mrs. Amberley. 2 weeks later, the couple went off together, carrying a lot of Mr. Amberley's money. So, can we find the wife? Can we find the money?
What will you do about it?
Well, the immediate question, my dear Watson, is what will you do about it? You see, I am quite preoccupied with the patriarch's case. So, Mr. Amberley has agreed to meet a representative, you.
By all means, I confess I don't see that I can get off my service, but I will do my best. I will set forth to Lewisham tomorrow, Tuesday, summer afternoon.
Watson, you have arrived.
Yes, the Haven is the name of Mr. Josiah's house. I think it will really interest you, Holmes. You know, that particular quarter, the brick streets, the suburban highways, right in the middle of a little island, full of ancient culture and comfort, lies this big home surrounded by a big, tall, sun-baked wall.
Cut the porch, Watson. I understand it was a high brick wall.
Exactly, I asked a lounger that was smoking in the street which was the Haven house. I have reason of mentioning him. He was tall, dark, heavily mustached, rather military-looking man. I hardly entered the gateway before I saw Mr. Amberley coming down. He gave me the impression of a strange creature, even abnormal.
Very good. What did he say?
He told me the story while we walked, and I took a good look around. It was a very bad kept place. The garden was wild, and the plants had been allowed to grow freely. How any decent woman could have tolerated such state of things? The poor men seemed to be aware of it and tried to remedy it. For a green paint stood in the center of the home, and he was carrying a brush in his left hand. He had been working on the woodwork. Of course, he was disappointed that you had not come.
I understand.
On that particular day, wanted to treat his wife and booked 2 seats at the Haymarket Theatre. But at the last moment, his wife complained about a headache and refused to go. There was no doubt. He also showed me the unused ticket of his wife.
That is remarkable, Watson. Most remarkable. I find your narrative most interesting. Did you examine his ticket? Perhaps take the number?
It so happens that I did. 31.
Excellent. So that means that his seat was either 33 or 32.
Quite so, and on a bureau.
What else did he tell you?
He showed me a room, almost like a bank, with an iron door and bullet-proof, as he claimed. However, the woman seems to have a duplicate key, and they had taken £7,000 worth of cash and securities.
Securities? How could they dispose of those?
He said that he has given the police a list and that he hoped that they will be unsaleable. He had gotten back from the theater about midnight and found the place robbed. The door and window opened and no fugitives. No letter, no message. He gave the alarm to the police.
You said he was painting. What was he painting?
Well, he had already painted the door and woodwork from the passage I spoke of. And yes, he was painting the room that looked like a bank.
Does it strike you as a strange occupation under these particular circumstances?
One must do to ease an aching heart. That was his explanation. Quite eccentric, but he is clearly an eccentric man. He tore up the photos of his wife in my own presence.
So, anything more, Watson?
Yes, one thing that was more intriguing than anything else. I had driven to Blackheath Station and caught my train there. I saw a man dart into the carriage next to mine. You know that I have a very, very good eye with faces. It was undoubtedly the tall, dark man I spoke of. I saw him once more in the London Bridge, and then I lost him in the crowd. But I am convinced that he was following me.
No doubt. No doubt. A heavily tall, dark, mustached man, you say, with great tinted glasses?
You're a wizard. He did have a great tinted sunglasses.
Interesting. And a Masonic pin?
Holmes?
So, quite a symbol, my dear Watson. But let us get down to what is practical. I must admit to you that the case, which seemed to be easy, has now gotten my notice, has changed into this different, more interesting aspect. It is true that though your mission, you have missed everything of importance, yet even those things you have obtruded themselves upon your notice give rise to serious thought.
What have I missed?
Don't be hurt, my dear fellow. No one else would have done better, but clearly you have missed vital points. Maybe what is the opinion of the neighbors about Amberley and his wife? Or that is surely of importance. Or what of Dr. Ernest? Was he a gay lover one would expect? I can picture you whispering sweet nothings with the young lady at the Blue Anchor and receiving something in exchange. As this you have left undone.
It can still be done.
It has indeed been done. Thanks to the telephone and help of the yard, I can get my essentials without leaving this very room. As a matter of fact, my information confirms this man's story. He has a reputation of being a savior and harsh and demanding husband. He had a large sum of money in the strong room, didn't you know? So also Dr. Ernest, an unmarried man, played chess with Amberley and probably played the fool with his wife. One would think that he's plain simple, and there was no more to be said, don't you think?
What is the difficulty?
In my imagination, perhaps. Well, leave it there, Watson. Let us escape from this work day by music. Karina sings tonight at, let me see, Albert Hall. Watson, have you seen Amberley?
No,
I'm expecting him.
but he's not here.
Ah,
Oh,
Mr.
Mr.
Amberley.
Amberley.
Hi,
Nice to meet you.
how are you?
Very well, very well.
Well, Mr. Holmes, I have a telegram for you, but I have nothing for you.
Come at once without fail. I can give you information as to your recent loss. Elman the Vicarage. It says here, dispatched at 2:10 from Little Purlington, Essex. That's not far from Frinton. This man has to be responsible. Let me see my notebook. Let me see. I know I have his information. Ah, yes. J.C. Elman, living in Mossmore, Little Purlington. Watson, look up the train.
Oh, there is one at 5:20 from Liverpool Street.
Excellent, Watson. You must go with him. He may need your help or advice.
Okay.
It's absurd, Mr. Holmes. What kind of man possibly know of what has occurred? It is a waste of time and money.
He wouldn't telegraph you if he didn't know something. You must go. If not, you're not interested in this investigation.
I don't think I should go.
It will make the worst possible impression to me and upon the police if you don't go. You have to be interested in this investigation. You have to go.
Why? Of course, I shall go if you look at it in that way.
Okay,
It is absurd to suppose that person knows anything. But if you think,
I do think. Come on, let's go. Watson, wait a minute. You need to make sure that Amberley does go. If he doesn't go or escapes, you need to get to the nearest telephone and send me the single word, bolted.
Bolted.
I will make sure that it reaches me wherever I am.
Okay.
Oh, come on. Wait a minute, please. Mr. Allman, it seems you have visitors.
Oh, come on in.
J.C.
Indeed.
My name is Watson.
Hi.
my name is Isaiah Amberley.
Hi. Well, what can I do for you?
We came here in answer of your telegram.
Telegram. What telegram?
The one you sent to Mr. Josiah Humberley about his wife and his money.
If this is a joke, it's not really funny. I have not sent anyone's telegram and I don't know your name.
Josiah Amberley.
No, I
Well,
don't know.
Perhaps there has been a mistake. Are there two vicarage?
There's only one vicarage.
Here is the telegram, signed by Elman and dated from the vicarage.
Huh. The origin of the wire will be investigated by the police.
Okay.
Meanwhile, I would like you to leave.
Okay.
Hello, gentlemen. It seems you have
Yes,
to leave now.
I'm going. Then he said that he didn't send the telegram and went asleep.
Interest. Most singular, Watson.
Yes, indeed.
But I much fear that there is no return train tonight. I have registered you two in an inn, and you can that way be close to Amberley. Then, tomorrow night, return to Baker Street, please.
Okay, I will.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Oh, Mr. Amberley, please come in.
Hi. Excuse me.
This is my friend, Mr. Barker. He had been interesting himself also in your business. Though we have been working independently, but we both have the same question to ask you.
What question, Mr. Holmes?
What did you do with the bodies? No! 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 Things must be done decently and in order. Grab me a cab. We must go to the yard now. Inspector, I have left Barker to look after the formalities. Barker hasn't met Watson, but Watson mentioned a grey tinted glasses that wore a man with a Masonic pin and was quite tall. I was sure it was Barker. He's my sworn enemy. He has quite a good cases, has he not?
He has certainly interfered several times.
His methods are irregular, like my own.
Perhaps, but we get there all the same. You will excuse us if we are feeling sore when you jump in with methods we cannot use. and so rob us of the credit.
There shall be no robbery. I assure you, he has done nothing except what I told you.
That is very handsome of you. Praise or blame can matter little to you. That it is very different for us when the newspaper begin to ask questions.
Quite so. What will you say to the reporter when she asks you, how did you discover the killer?
Well, we don't have any real facts yet. You say that the prisoner confessed in front of two other witnesses of killing his wife and her lover by trying to commit suicide. What other facts have you?
Have you arranged for a search?
Underway. Underway.
Okay, you'll soon then get the clearest facts. The bodies cannot be found. Try the cellars or the garden. It shouldn't take too long.
How did you know of it?
First, I will give you an insight of this man's head. You see, he was a miserable man. He was a terrible husband. That made his wife become a prey for any adventurer, and such one came upon. Dr. Ernest, do you remember? The plain chest doctor. Well, Amberley was great at chess too, evidence of his scheming mind. Well, he suspected of their affair and was determined to take revenge. Now, Inspector, come.
What an awful smell of paint.
Indeed, our first clue. You can thank Dr. Watson for that. Why would this man at such time be filling his house with strong smells? Obviously, to cover another smell, some guilty and suspicious smell. Then came the idea of the safe room, hermetically sealed. Put those two facts together, and where do they lead? I can only determine that by examining the house myself. I knew the case was serious, for I had examined the chart at the Haymarket Theatre. Oh my God.
Damn.
Okay, but listen. I examined the chart at the Haymarket Theatre, and neither B30 nor B32 had been occupied that night.
Oh my God.
Therefore, Amberley had not been to the theatre, and his alibi fell to the ground. The question now was how I was going to examine the house. I sent an agent to the most impossible village I could think of and summoned my man into such hour that he could not possibly get back, and Dr. Watson accompanied him. The good vicar's name I took, of course. Do I make it all clear?
He's all masterly.
Here, being no one in, I proceeded to burgle the house. I found a gas pipe along the security. Here, look. You see?
Yes.
It rises in the angle of the wall, and there is a tap here in the corner. There, tap in the corner.
Oh.
Yes. The pipe runs out into the strong room and ends in the plastered rose in the center of the ceiling, where in the concealed ornamentation. The end is wide open. At any moment, the room could be filled with gas. No one could survive 2 minutes in there.
Really?
Yes.
One of our officers mentioned the smell of gas. What next, Mr. Holmes?
Well, then came the incident. That was rather unexpected. I was slipping through the window and I felt a hand in my collar. And a voice. Now, you rascal, what are you doing here? There I found Mr. Barker. You see? It's quite interesting. It seems that he was engaged by the family of Dr. Ernest. Do you remember the guy that slept with Mr. Amberley's wife? Yes. Well, he had watched the house for a few days. There he saw Watson, who he thought was suspicious. But when he saw a man climbing out the window, he of course didn't restrain. That was me. Yes. When I told him what was really happening, we continued the case together.
And why him? Why not us?
It was in my mind to do that little test, which answered so admirably. I fear you would not have gone so far.
Well, maybe not. I understand that I have your word, Mr. Holmes. The case now and that you turn all your results over to us.
Certainly, that is my custom.
Well, in the name of the force, I thank you. It seems a clear case, and there can't be much difficulty over the bodies.
Look, more pipes, more gas pipes.
Incredible.
Well,
This is amazing.
I show you a grim of evidence. You will always get results by putting yourself in the other fellow's place and thinking what you would do yourself. It takes some imagination, but it pays. Now, hey, Inspector, come here. Look, let's get in this room. Close the door. Okay, so now we will suppose that you were shut in this room, had not 2 minutes to live, but wanted to get even with a friend that was mocking you from the other sides. What would you do?
I would write a message.
Exactly. Tell people how you died. No use writing on paper or wall because it will be seen. Now, look here. No.
Well,
look here. You see that? You see that?
wow, I just see that.
Yes. Well,
What do you make of that?
the poor devil was dying when he wrote it. He lost his senses before he could finish.
He was writing, we were murdered.
That is how I read it, of course. If you find a purple pencil on one of the bodies, you know who wrote it.
I'll look for it.
Now we have to return to Baker Street. Well,
As fast as we can.
we have all we need from here. Come on. Let's shut the door. Come on, let's go. They gave Mr. McKinnon all the credit. Listen, Watson. Remarkable acumen by which Inspector McKinnon deduced from the smell of paint and gas the bold deduction that the strong room might also be the death chamber.
Wow.
Listen, there's more. And the subsequent inquiry which led to the discovery of the bodies in a disused well cleverly concealed by a dog kennel should live in this history of crime as a standing example of the intelligence of our professional detectives. A good fellow. You can file it in our archives, Watson. Someday, the true story will be told.
What the fuck?
¿Cómo se te va que yo,
Ay, espérate. ¡Oh! Ya, vámonos. What's up?
Expecting him.
Well, he's not here.
Hi.
Oh, Mr.
Hi,
Amelie.
Mr. Amelie.
How are you?
Yes.
Very well.
You need to get to the nearest telephone me and telephone me. If he doesn't go or escapes, you need to get to the nearest telephone me. Telephone. You need to make sure. Yeah.
Oh, hi, Mr. Amelie.
Hi, how are you?
Te la odio. Yeah, Mr. Amberley, come in, please.
Excuse me.
This is my friend, Mr. Barker. I'm sorry.
Yeah, ¿cuándo lo que escribir, buddy? What is the question, Mr. Holmes?
Where did you hide? Where?
Era, what did you do with the bodies?
He had been interesting himself also in your business, Mr. Amberley. Though we have been working independently, but we both have the same question to ask you.
What is the question, Mr. Holmes?
Where did you hide the bodies? No! Things must be done in order.